last name is spelled B-E-Y-A-K, counsel for the young person.
Can you tell us what happened today? What was today scheduled for and what transpired?
Today was for a review of the sentence, and so we come back to court every 6 months so that the judge can be satisfied that the IRC sentence is meeting the goals that it's set to meet, and that in fact progress is being made in accordance with the Youth Criminal Justice Act principles and the sentence that he imposed.
So maybe characterize the progress. How are things going?
Things are going very well. Academically and from a therapeutic perspective, as you heard the judge say, very positive. She's making great strides.
What can you tell us about the new placement that she'll be going into?
I'm actually not able to discuss that.
Is the custodial portion of her sentence, can you say if she's moving into open custody? Or?
The intention is to move into open custody, yes. Her designation into open custody was changed on the last review date. It's now up to the Solicitor General's Department where she's placed. The intention is to have her move from Alberta Hospital.
Okay.
Is there any kind of a timeline? I know you can't speak specifically, but...
Later in the summer.
Later in the summer?
Yes.
And when is the custodial portion of her sentence actually finished?
The custodial portion of her sentence, I don't actually have the exact date.
But she got time for pretrial. She got pretrial time, did she?
Yes, she did get pretrial custody credit, and then...
So 1.5?
1.5.
Okay, so it was 18 months.
Yes.
Roughly. Okay.
When does her entire sentence expire? Like a year?
Trying to do the math.
Wouldn't it be 16?
2016, I believe. Yes, it was a 10-year sentence in its entirety, and then time was taken off for pretrial custody credit. So it's roughly 2016, I believe.
And can you just explain to us so far as how the sentence breaks down, what portion is what, and what the plan looks like so far as if you follow it?
Well, the interesting part about the plan is it's not concrete. The timelines in terms of when the custody portion ends and when the conditional supervision part starts are all subject to change by the judge should he feel the need. So they've been set right now on a roughly a 2/3, 1/3 ratio that the supervision portion would start. But again, depending on what the reports say and what progress she's making, that can always be changed.
How open is the open custody she'll be going into?
The open custody is similar to a conditional sentence order that you would see in an adult situation. There are restrictions on liberty, curfew. Again, it's very closely monitored, subject to change, and of course, direction from the Solicitor General's Department.
Does that mean that she's obviously out of the hospital, and then what type of setting would it be exactly? If you could elaborate.
Again, it depends on, it could be anything from a group home to an individual placement to a more therapeutic setting, and it's all at the discretion of the Solicitor General's
So that
office.
and that's been basically approved, but now it's just a matter of making those arrangements. Is that correct?
Yes, there is a rough plan in place, and everybody's working toward that. But in terms of what's actually going to happen, we don't know for sure until it does. But there is a plan in place.
Will she be able to work a regular job, go to a regular school with this open custody?
Ultimately, the purpose of the IRC sentence is to do a gradual reintegration, and so the sentence can be adjusted to allow for things like completion of high school, then beginning to learn social tasks like banking, moving on then to getting a job and learning to live independently.
And with today's review, will that process begin?
Yes, that's the intention.
Does her placement have to be in the jurisdiction where the offences took place? In other words, in Alberta? Does it say? Or
It should be in Alberta, yes.
I know that, I guess during the last review it was granted that she could have supervised trips outside of the hospital. Can you give us an indication of how many she takes, what types of things she's been doing?
She hasn't been off the grounds yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
No, just again that it's at the discretion of the institution, and of, there's restrictions and of course concerns for everybody's safety, hers as well, especially given all the attention that seems to follow this. So certainly there have been trips out of the hospital onto the hospital grounds, but not off the hospital grounds themselves.
Okay.
What concerns does she have that she is going to be recognized?
That's not something I'm comfortable answering.
And are we able to say, is the tentative plan for
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you explain what, as you said that she could be in anything from a group home to an individual placement, what would an individual placement look like? What
A foster care type setting, or a kinship placement, or eventually even an independent living setup.
what does that mean?
It's essentially assisted living, so similar to a child welfare placement where you see older children sign agreements, for example, with child welfare. They continue to live in a placement supported by Child and Family Services, even though it's their own residence, semi-independent, or in some cases completely independent but supported.
So this is, pardon my ignorance, but this is a fairly significant jump in her, like a change for her in her day-to-day living. She's going to go from a, correct me if I'm wrong, but from a lock-up hospital facility, very controlled, to possibly returning to a school setting. And
From a practical
degree freedom.
standpoint, yes, it makes a huge it makes a very big difference. Although the designation itself, she's still subject to an open custody designation, which means it's still a custodial sentence, but being served in the community.
And the therapy continues.
Yes, and that's the focus of the IRC sentence, of course, is to have the therapy continue and to be able to address issues on a more individualized basis as opposed to the in-custody setting where things are largely addressed in group settings.
What type of conditions would she have? I mean, you've mentioned some of them. Like, what would be in her list of conditions?
A list of conditions hasn't been provided to us yet. Typically, I would expect curfew residents to attend for therapeutic reasons, for whether that be counseling and treatment or other therapy as Solicitor General's department deems fit. Likely restrictions on contact, a requirement to maintain academics or educational pursuits of some sort. Really, again, more of the idea being any conditions that will assist her in ultimately reintegrating.
And again, is this open custody? Is like let's say she's put in a group home or able to go to school. Is she does she still have to be under constant supervision from somebody?
Constant supervision, yes, but not necessarily direct supervision.
Is there anything, when her sentence is done, is there anything that will stop her from returning to Medicine Hat?
No.
Are her relatives supportive of her progress?
A number of the relatives have been supportive, yes.
What are you comfortable saying about your client and about the fact that, you know, she's getting a good report on her progress and she's making this change?
Well, I think it definitely shows that the system's working, and I know that sounds cliche, but basically a lot of resources have been put into this very unique situation, and the system as well as my client seem to be responding appropriately.
And academically, just to elaborate on that a little bit, she taking school. What kinds of subjects, if you can elaborate on?
She's taking regular curriculum, high school courses, and maintaining a very, very high average. So math, English, social studies, those types of things, above 80s and everything.
How old is she now?
16.
And she'll be 8. How old will she be when her whole term is completed?
23.
And I don't think we're rolling. Could you repeat your name again and spell it, please?
Oh yeah, it's Catherine, Katherine, Beyak.